Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Techie Water. Today we will discuss some important Linux basics. First we will discuss Linux login basics and then we will discuss Linux file system hierarchy. Okay, let's begin with Linux login basics. So whenever you will log into your Linux machine, the very first line that you will notice will be like this. Okay, so let's understand what does it mean, right? So as you can see, ABC at the rate localhost, then tilde sign, then dollar sign. So what does it mean? Here ABC is username, localhost represents the machine name, and this tilde sign represents home directory, and this dollar sign represents user login symbol, right? So let's understand with example. In this example, you can see ec2-user at the rate IP address tilde sign and then dollar, and the same you can see on the left screen at the very top ec2-user at the rate IP address tilde sign then dollar. So what does it mean? EC2-user is a username. IP-IP address is basically machine name. This tilde sign represents home directory and this dollar sign represents basic user or standard user or normal user. So exactly what does it mean? This EC2 user is logging on this machine and currently is on home directory, and this EC2 user is basic user or sometimes you can say standard user or normal user, right? So let's understand from the command prompt. When we type pwd, that is present working directory, what does it mean? Currently EC2 user is on their home directory. So in this way we can depict this first line. Another example is root at the rate IP address, then tilde sign, then hash, right? So what does it mean? Root is a username that we know. IP address is a machine name, yes, we know. And this tilde sign is basically home directory, right? And this hash symbol, this represents the current user is admin user. This root user is admin user, right? We can see from here as well. When we switched from normal user to root user, this symbol get changed, right? This symbol get changed. Now currently this is a root user login on this machine and currently is on home directory, and this user type is admin. In this way you can understand the meaning of this first line, right? Now we will understand Linux file system hierarchy. Okay, so the first thing is, what is file system? It is basically a storage utility that stores the data of server or computer, right? So file system is all about how and where data is stored and managed. This is all about the file system, right? If you are new to Linux or have used it for a few months, then you must have heard this statement, that is, in Linux everything is file. So what does it mean basically? Everything is a file phrase defines the architecture of operating system. It means that everything in the system from processes, files, directories, sockets, etc. is represented by a file descriptor. Okay, now in Linux very frequently you are going to use this word, that is directory. So what is directory? A directory is just a file that contains name of other files, or you can say programs, services, text, images, and all other files, right? So what is directory? Directory is just a file that contains name of other files. So this is all about the file system. Now let's understand directory structure of the Linux. So the Linux directory structure is like a tree, and the base of the Linux file system hierarchy begins at the root. This slash is known as root, and everything starts at the root. So basically everything starts from the root directory, that is slash, and below this there are various other directories. So let's understand this slash first, right? So you can say this is the home of operating system. This is the home of operating system, and everything resides within this. One important thing is, not every user has read or write privilege to this directory. Only the administrator or allowed users of operating system can have such privileges, right? So in next slide we will understand about all the important directories, but before that we will understand the difference between this slash and this slash root directory. Okay, let's first understand this slash directory or root directory. This is basically the starting point of the file system hierarchy. This is not related to root or super user account, right? It is actually the home of operating system, or you can say system root directory, and it is sometimes referred as slash. Okay, so the thing that you have to note is this is not related to any root user or super user account, right? Now second one is slash root directory. This is just like slash home directory. Slash root is the house of administrator or super user, right? Since this is the super users directory, so it is better not to touch it unless you have complete knowledge of what you are doing. You have to be very careful before touching to this slash root directory. This slash root directory is the home directory of root user, and instead of being located at slash home slash root, it's just simply located at slash root. So don't get confused between slash and slash root, because slash is the home of operating system and whereas slash root is the home directory of root user, right? Now there are various directories under this slash or root directory, but we will discuss only those directories which we use frequently, like bin, sbin, root, home, var, user, etc, temp, right? Before proceeding to understanding all the directories in detail, first we will look how this directory structure look like on Linux server. There are some useful commands to understand directory structure of Linux. You can see in previous slide, and I told you earlier, everything starts with this slash or root directory. So let's see on the terminal. So currently where we are logged in with root user, and currently root user is on their home directory, but we have to switch on slash, right? Because everything starts with the slash, right? Not root. Everything starts with the slash. So we have to switch over slash. Let's type cd slash. Yes. Now we can cross check by typing command pwd, that is present working directory, slash. Now we are at very starting point of the directory, that is slash. If we have to check what is inside in this slash directory, then we have to type the command ls. So as you can see, these are the directories which resides within this slash, right? Bin, dev, home, media, root, sbin, etc. If we have to understand the structure of the Linux directory, then we have to install one utility, that is tree, and for that you have to use the command yum install tree. As I already installed in this system, so I don't need to reinstall over here, so we can directly run this command, that is tree. But we are not going to run this command because its output will be very lengthy or will not be possible to read in one go, right? So we will run this command tree hyphen l1. Okay, so what does it mean? It will display level 1 directories only, or you can say it will display level 1 tree structure only. Like suppose if we switch to this directory, so what l1 means, this is the first level of the directory. This will be the first level of the directory. And furthermore, if you want to explore, then we have to jump to level 2, right? So we will just run level 1 first. So let's see what the output will be. Here you can see when we run tree -l1, then we get all the directories, all the level 1 directories, right? Now let's run level 2. What level 2 will display? It should display subdirectory of the all these directories. So just type the command tree-l2 and enter. So as you can see, there are lots of files, there are lots of subdirectories or files. In this way you can see the structure. Like bin, inside bin there is a user and bin. Inside boot there are lots of other directories and files. And same with the def, there are lots of other files and directories. So basically, what does it mean? If you want to check level 1 directories or if you want to check level 1 structure, then just type the command tree-l1, and if you want to check level 2 structure, then you have to type the command tree-l2, right? Let's understand detailed meaning of all these directories. So first one is root directory, which is the starting point of the directories. And as I earlier told you, this is basically home of operating system, right? And not every user has read and write privilege to this directory. Only administrator or allowed user can access this directory, right? Now the first one is slash bin. Short definition is slash bin contains binaries and other executable programs. So what does it mean? Like programs are written in source code, which is human readable text, and this source code is then compiled into machine readable binaries. So they are called as binaries. Now next is slash sbin. It basically contains binaries and other executable programs which is used by super user. Now the third one is slash root. So slash root is basically home directory of the root user. Now the next one is slash home. Slash home is basically home directories. So actually thing is Linux is a multi-user environment, and each user is assigned as a specific directory that is accessible only to them and the system administrator. And you can say it is your playground. Everything is at your command. You can write files, delete them, install programs, etc. Right? So your home directory contains your personal configuration files. Okay. Next one is slash var, right? It basically contains variable data, or most of the time it contains log files, right? Log files, mail and printer directories and other some temporary files. Especially it contains logs generated by operating system and other applications. Okay. Next one is slash usr. This directory basically contains user related programs. Okay. Or you can say this directory contains the application installed and used by user, and this is one of the most important directories in the system as it contains all the user binaries and their documents, libraries, header files, etc. Right? Now next one is slash temp. It basically contains temporary space. This directory contains files that require temporarily. Okay, but you have to be very careful. Why? You do not need to remove files from this directory unless you know exactly what you are doing, because many of these files are important for currently running programs and deleting them may result in system crash. So yes, slash temp contains temporary files, but before deleting any file, you have to be very careful because maybe that will be file for any currently running program, right? And this temp file get cleared whenever system will get reboot or restarted. Next one is slash etc. Slash etc is basically contains system configuration files. This is known as a nerve center of your system. Why? Because because it contains all system related configuration files or subdirectories. A configuration file is basically defined as local file used to control the operation of a program, right? So for this reason, it is a good idea to back up this directory regularly whenever you are inside any company or whenever you are allocated with any project. Then it is a good idea to take a backup of this directory, right? So that you won't lose your current installation. Slash etc is basically all the system configuration files. Thank you everyone for watching. If you have any query or if you have any doubt, you can put on the comment section.